Mystica. Real documented mysteries. Records first, explanations last. 1967. Rosenheim. A law office logs a pattern that shouldn't exist, and nobody can close it. Not a campfire story. Not ghosts. Just power and phones misbehaving together. Like someone had access. Rosenheim, Germany. Late 1967. A law office on a normal weekday. Paperwork, ringing phones, fluorescent lights. Routine, predictable, boring. Then the boring starts misbehaving. Flickers, trips, dropped calls. And the moment it repeats, it stops being noise and becomes a file. If it happened once, it would be nothing. But the office says it returns again, under similar conditions. That's when the jokes stop and the engineers get called in. Because engineers don't fear stories. They hunt mechanisms. The checklist starts simple. Panels, breakers, grounding, load, wiring paths. Loose contacts can arc. Arcs can spike. Spikes can trip protection and pop bulbs. Overload can look selective when the same circuit feeds the same corner. So they map the office like a puzzle. Topology can imitate intent. The same corner failing again feels targeted until you see the wiring route. And still, according to accounts, the disturbances keep returning. Not one weird afternoon. Multiple episodes. Watching changes perception. A normal click becomes a sign. A normal flicker becomes a warning. So we separate what was observed in the moment from what came later. Because later summaries love clean stories. Real files are not clean. They're gaps, contradictions, half-notes, stress, and noise. So we anchor to routine. Predictable timing, predictable demand, predictable patterns. Because if something repeats, you can test it. In many retellings, monitoring equipment enters the story. Instruments are said to register irregular spikes and strange deflections. That's a big jump. Machines don't get spooked, they register change. So what changed? Exactly. And why here? The team tries the obvious fixes anyway. Tighten contacts, swap parts, replace suspect components, standard procedure. Sometimes it calms down for a moment, then returns as if it waited. That stop and start pattern feeds the fear. More specialists get pulled in. Electricians, power techs, phone techs, each with their own theory. They look for one bad actor, a noisy device, a dirty line, a weak point. But the file refuses to hand over a clean villain. Instead, it offers timing, clusters, contradictions, just enough to keep doubt alive. And doubt does something strange in a workplace. It turns every normal sound into a possible signal, and every signal into a threat. So the investigators chase one thing above all: repeatability. Then the phone system becomes the center. Odd ringing, disconnections, and calls the staff insists they never placed. Phones are different from lights. Phones can leave trails, logs, billing, timestamps. And trails make stories expensive to fake. One detail keeps resurfacing. A time service number repeatedly dialed, specific, repetitive, traceable on paper. If that detail holds, it isn't folklore. It's paperwork. And paperwork doesn't care what anyone believes. But labels arrive anyway. Poltergeist gets said, not as proof, as a shortcut for confusion. Shortcuts are dangerous. They end curiosity, and weak explanations survive. Still, witnesses are cited across versions. Staff, techs, visitors. So the question shifts again. Did many people misread normal faults? Or did the system behave in a genuinely odd way? And odd still doesn't mean supernatural. Odd can be timing, interference, cascade, or intent. So you walk in like an engineer again. Voltage stability, relays, line noise, arcing, grounding. The basics, patiently repeated. Interference is a quiet suspect on older infrastructure. Noise can make equipment behave erratically, and erratic can look responsive. Think of a microphone feeding back, alive, but only sensitive. But some accounts say the file escalated beyond outages. Movement is mentioned, fixtures swinging, pictures turning, objects shifting. This is the line that splits audiences. Skeptics demand mechanisms, believers demand meaning. So we stay disciplined. Test claims, distrust retellings, stress warps memory. Time compresses, coincidences line up, and small events grow teeth. Some versions say a picture was recorded turning, others dispute what it shows. So the real question isn't, did it move? It's, what is documented, precisely, and when? This is the heart of Rosenheim. Competing descriptions of the same moments, inside the same rooms, under the same lights. Contradictions don't kill a case. Contradictions show where the missing piece hides. And then the framing changes. A parapsychology team enters the narrative. Hans Bender is often named in later summaries. Once that frame appears, the public story tilts. Headlines travel faster than wiring diagrams. Two languages share one file. Loads and faults. Focus and effects. When languages clash, nuance gets crushed. The story turns personal in many retellings. A young employee is often described as near key events when they happened. Be careful. Correlation isn't guilt, and it isn't proof either. It's only a variable. And variables must be tested. So what would a clean test look like? Controlled access, time-stamped logs, consistent measurement, repeatable conditions. But it's a working office. Clients arrive, phones must ring. The day can't pause for science. Pressure rises, and pressure invites mistakes into the record. At this point, the case splits into two stubborn roads. One road says unknown forces beyond known physics. The other says the obvious was missed, or someone staged the effects. And each road calls the other naive. Skeptical critiques point to fraud paths. Threads, staged movement, misdirection, simple methods with big impact. Because simple methods can mimic poltergeist effects. And if simple methods existed here, they matter more than any mood. Some accounts mention knocking sounds. A tool can create bangs without mystery at all. Cheap, repeatable, convincing. So the question becomes hard and concrete. What was actually found? And what was only argued later? Another angle targets instruments. If a needle swings, how do we know it wasn't forced? Instruments can be tampered with. A tampered instrument can manufacture drama that looks like data. So where does that leave you? Exactly where Rosenheim traps everyone, between two discomforts. If it was technical, why no clean diagnosis? Why didn't one mechanism explain the whole chain, end to end? If it was human, why no obvious method? Why didn't scrutiny snap the trick in half? Because sustained deception under watch isn't casual. It needs access, timing, discipline. And discipline usually leaves traces. Yet the traces aren't universally accepted, which is why the case remains famous, and the file remains open. So map explanations the way a technical team would. Option 1. A rare technical cascade. Electrical instability plus phone line issues, multiple symptoms at once. Plausible, but expensive in complexity. And complexity still owes fingerprints. Option 2. Environmental influence, vibration, resonance, structural movement under specific conditions. Plausible, but it must explain narrow timing. Those rooms, those moments, those triggers. Option 3. Deliberate interference. Someone exploiting weak points, staging movement, triggering failures. Plausible, but it must explain consistency. A hoax that survives attention requires planning. Option 4. Perception and amplification. A real fault grows into a larger narrative under stress and repetition. Plausible, but it needs a first spark. Something that truly disrupted work. And here's the honest complication. Rosenheim might hold more than one option at once. A technical fault can exist, and a human can exploit it. Or a fault can be misread, and retellings can harden confusion into fact, which means the enemy may be the record itself. Not lies, just drift, edits, simplifications, and loud certainty. So treat it like a file, not a legend. Go back to the earliest notes, then compare them to later, cleaner versions. Because stories get cleaner as they spread. And cleaner isn't always truer. Now listen closely to what closure would require. One confirmed fault that reproduces the full pattern on demand. Or one proven method of staging. Show access, show procedure, show repeatability, end to end. Not one symptom. The entire chain. A controlled reproduction would be gold. Trigger it, trace it, measure it, close it, like any real investigation. A proven method would also close it. Not accusation, demonstration, not belief, procedure. But Rosenheim doesn't end with that. It ends with dispute and paperwork that refuses a neat ending. So what's the responsible conclusion? Not ghosts are real, and not everyone lied. It's this. The record supports anomalies, and it supports arguments. And arguments are exactly why the file stays open. Because the real hook is mismatch. Reports don't match mechanisms, and mechanisms don't match reports. Mismatch creates an open loop. And the brain hates open loops. It replays them again and again. So here's the final question. What single piece of evidence would make you certain? Fault, method, or reproduction? And if we don't have it, what do we call the case? Unresolved, documented, argued, still open.